Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a joint hearing of the Government Operations and Transportation Environment Committee. Ms. McMillan, do you have opening comments for us?
You are here today to consider a declaration of no further need for portions of roads that you see there that are within the town of Poolesville. The county does own the land fee simple underneath them, and the advice was that they needed to go through a declaration of no further need. Ms. Navarro's staff asked me a really interesting question yesterday about it, and I think that as we revisit the property disposition law, which we're going to get back to Geo on, we can bring this back up. But since we're far enough along now with this, it would be good for the council to go ahead and complete the process as was advised to start with DOT, and then we can come back and see if there's a simpler way to do these kinds of transfers. And so you have representatives from DOT and the town of Poolesville, and we can talk about what's transferring and the reasons why.
Mr. Deputy Director.
Emma Wolanin, Deputy Director of the county's Department of Transportation.
Seth Navarro, Town Manager, Poolesville.
So the town initiated a request to take over maintenance on certain roads. We agreed on these 3 segments of road. The other one that was up for discussion was a portion of White's Ferry, but as a major thoroughfare, we didn't want to kind of disconnect by creating a gap where the town owned a portion of that and then the state and the county on opposite sides of it, eventually all the way out to the river. So we've been going through this process. It's been a challenge for us. This is really the first time that we've taken a right-of-way like this through the disposition law. I agree with Linda and the question that your staff asked Ms. Navarro, where we own the underlying fee simple of the right-of-way. You know, we have the ability to transfer a right-of-way to a town. We recently did this with the town of Kensington, where we didn't own the underlying land and fee simple. That was an easy transfer. This, we're going through the additional process for the land itself. So Poolesville has asked for the roads. They're more akin to residential streets in these portions. They own other pieces of the roads. We're okay with it. They plan to maintain it to the same standard, and I believe I'll let Seth answer. They have no other plans to use it for, you know, playgrounds or shopping malls or anything else like that. So
Health centers.
yes.
Definitely.
You had to go there.
Well, just kind of follow up, your staff has done a great job in the report. You've really went through the declaration of no further need. There's been no public comment. That seems like a rational and reasonable request to be able to transfer these roads over, ideally in fee simple as well. And as was stated, that these are more or less urban profile areas now. The development has occurred around these. It's a less county-like segment, becoming more urban, and the opportunity for us to do some improvements in those road right-of-ways and other things of that nature, both walkability, bike-friendly, and then just general paving and maintenance is our goal. And of course, we always intend to maintain these as roads, just be clear of that as well. So we understand there's a couple fine details that need to be finessed out, that we will actually put in one of the deeds, that this is always going to be used for roads, and we'll work with that through the administrative process. We've committed to that. So that's our request before you. If you have any questions, I can entertain those. Thank you.
Questions?
Council President.
Council President? Thank you.
Mine is fairly fast. If it's fee simple, and I'm fine with this. I mean, if you all want to take over the maintenance of a road, why wouldn't we let you? But if it's not for the fee simple, if we don't have it fee simple, who does own it? Like in Kensington, you said that the county didn't own the underlying land in fee simple. Who owns it?
Whoever owns that parcel on the tax records. Sometimes rights of way are simply dedicated.
So it was on a right of way rather than.
Yeah, so
I see.
Who specifically owned that, I don't know.
I got
the
you,
names
but
of
I didn't
them.
understand it was a right of way rather than. Yeah, I'm fine.
Sometimes we buy the underlying land, sometimes it's just dedicated for public use to the county.
And I'm assuming in this contract that if it would ever to be realigned or whatever, that the county would have some sort of fallback position when what would be done with the land itself? How does that work?
Well, in this case, the land is being actually transferred to the town. No market
At
value.
no cost, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so, but if something were to happen, that they were gonna realign it and sell some of the land or whatever, does the county have any position on that?
What we are working into, either the road transfer agreement or what's called the quitclaim deed,
Yep.
would be, in essence, an agreement that if they ever tried to use the land and the roads for something other than a road,
Yep.
it would revert back to the county.
Thank you.
Councilmember Freaks.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Emil, for your work on this. I think this took a lot longer than any of us would have liked, and I know you worked very hard on it. My office was very involved. The town of Poolesville was very involved. I see Commissioner Jim Brown here as well, and I'm glad that we are here at this point. I think this is important for the town. I think this is a productive where we are for the county. I am hopeful, and I am glad that Councilmember Navarro's office raised some questions about the broader property disposition law. I think that there were a number of issues with this that it seemed like as we peeled the layer back, there were more and more issues and more problems, and I think it spoke to a challenge with needing to address this in a more comprehensive way. So I'm hopeful that in the context of that discussion, we can hear from the department about changes to the process, because between the communication among departments, between DPS and DOT, between communication with our municipal partners, with the utilities, there was all kinds of different information. At one point last year, we had heard that this was just a matter of the county executive signing something on his desk. Of course, and that changed about 7 or 8 times from the time that we now are here today. So we don't need to get into it too much. It seems like this is a pretty straightforward transaction, but I am hopeful in that follow-up conversation in GEO where we talk more about the process, we can have some assurances that all of the cracks that this fell into throughout the process are resolved for moving forward. And I did just want to welcome Seth Rivard to this role, taking over for Wade Yost, who I think all of us know well, who did a tremendous job for the town. And you certainly have big shoes to fill, but we're excited to have you in the town, and excited to have you working on these issues and others, and excited to continue to work together as partners between county government and the town of Poolesville.
Thank you very much for those kind remarks.
We had a question. Could, Emil, can you or Ms. McMillan explain the questions Ms. Navarro's office raised and what the implications are?
So the property disposition law requires the council to approve a declaration of no further need. You're not approving the final contract, and that's why in all these dispositions there are issues that are detailed and finalized through the contract. But you are declaring that you agree that the county does no longer need to own this property and it can be disposed of. There are some exceptions, and one of the exceptions is if the property is of minimal value and it's generally like less than $100,000. So the advice originally that was given to DOT on this was that it should move forward with a property disposition process. Now, when the executive order finally came over, it did note that the conclusion is because the final agreement will say it has to be maintained as a road, that it doesn't have a market value. So I think that's the issue, is if that had been determined up front that was going to be the agreement, could you have not had to have the council have a declaration of no further need? Since we're this far in the process and there was a question, my advice is let's just complete this process and be clear so there's no more possibility of any delay. And then the GEO committee already had one discussion about the property disposition law now that we've had some experience with it, and Mr. Wolanin was there at that time. So this is one of the issues that we want to get back to if there are revisions that GEO wishes to take to the council.
Good.
I think that just a follow-up on this point, what I take that as is there may be an ability to interpret the low or no market value that it would be exempted under that, or to specifically write in an exemption for these types of rights of ways, which would be more clear.
other questions? Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Councilmember Reamer moves and Councilmember Katz seconds. All those in favor? Great.
I didn't get everybody.
Thank you all.
It was not a problem.
Wonderful. Thank you all. Enjoy your
I
roads.
was gonna say, are you gonna have a road party set? Do you? Yeah, ribbon cutting?
Thank you.
Jail will start at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Not 10 p.m.
Well,
10
we might.
a.m.
You never
Looks
know.
like it's nighttime out there.
Downstairs.